Good evening, everyone. How you doing tonight? Welcome to the North Carolina Cryptid and Paranormal Project. This is Tom Cardos. I'm your host for tonight, and we're going to have Jess Smith into the portal tonight. She's going to be telling us about her experience with Bigfoot, and I'm sorry, it's Jessica Jones, not Jessica Smith. So she's going to be telling us her experiences about Bigfoot and the X Factor phenomenon and all that. And she also has some abilities with psychics in her psyche. So without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. Here we go. Good evening.
Hey, Tom. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on tonight.
Thanks for coming on tonight. I really appreciate you coming on. It's been a couple weeks of going back and forth trying to figure out how we're going to get each other on each other's podcast. So I finally got you on because it was New Year's and you were off, so I got lucky. So
yeah, well, no, we have shows that are at the exact same time every Saturday night. So I've actually been off for the past 2 weeks. I had Christmas and New Year's Day on my show dates, so I was able to take a little time off, but I'll be back next Saturday. So
awesome. Well, if I can't get a guest, I'll contact you during the week, and I'll just not do my show and be on yours if that's cool.
Absolutely, do that, let's do it. Yeah, anytime. Yeah. I would love that.
So those of the audience that don't know who you are, if you wanted to do a quick bio, how you got started, how you came to be, and how you gave yourself the name and all that. So let's go. Let's hear it.
Well, for people who've never heard of me before, I'm Jessica Jones. I'm actually a Bigfoot field researcher out of Georgia. I have been in tune with the paranormal my entire life, and just recently in October, I started a digital broadcasting show called Into the Portal with Jessica, the Oracle of the South. So I'm a member of about 3 or more different Bigfoot research groups. And, I started this about 10 years ago, going out in the field, doing Bigfoot field research. It just kind of happened, it's not like I've ever had like an obsession with Bigfoot or anything, but I have always been on a quest for knowledge and wanting to know more and wanting to, see more and do more, and get out of my comfort zone and just, see what all life has to offer. And I knew that there were ghosts and stuff because I've been seeing ghosts since I was a kid. And when I was younger, I used to sit out on my front lawn and, I lived in the country on a farm. And so the sky was just beautiful. And at night I would watch for UFOs as a kid. And so I'd always just had an interest in it and had some psychic abilities and stuff like that. And so about a little over 10 years ago, I met some fellas who were very passionate about Bigfoot field research. And so I went to a presentation that they gave with my mom. And at the end of the show or the presentation, of course, I was like, all right, so tell me the truth. Like, have you guys ever found a body? Why not? Of a Bigfoot? Have you ever found poop? All those questions that people usually have. It's it was just kind of typical. And the guys were like, well, hey, why don't you join us? We've got an expedition coming up in a couple of months. North Georgia mountains. I live in Georgia, and the guys were saying, come and join us. We're going to have a big expedition. So I went. Needless to say, my friends thought I was crazy, and I didn't even know these guys, but something just told me to go. I went with my gut, and I went out just wanting to, see Bigfoot. I wanted to see this big primate in the woods, and I just wanted to experience it. So I went full throttle. Let me tell you, I went on that first expedition, and with Enigma Research Group, and put myself out there. I was bait. If you guys know what bait is, right? So I was bait, and not only did we have Bigfoot activity that weekend, I got more than I bargained for, to be honest, because we had UFO activity throughout the entire weekend, and a lot of strange, like interdimensional weird stuff just went down that whole weekend. And needless to say, by the end of the weekend, the guys asked me to be a part of their group. So I guess all the weirdness kind of followed me around, and I brought the strangeness with me when I went out there with them.
That's cool.
Yeah, but since then, we go out, as much as we can, doing research all over the South. My teams and I have several hotspots that we go to. We've been researching for many years, and yeah, that's kind of how how it all started with the Bigfoot stuff, and how it's going now is I've got a show called Into the Portal. Um, you know, so yeah, and hopefully you'll be on it soon, Tom.
Yeah, awesome. I'd
Yeah,
love to. That'd be great.
yeah.
So you do some field research. I mean, I know you can't really give just like exact coordinates, but what areas have you kind of done research at that's kind of like hot spots where you could just say like the mountains north
Yeah,
south.
it's mostly mountains. The North Georgia mountains are full of activity. So pretty much anywhere you go in the North Georgia mountains, there's going to be activity. I mean, as you know, you can have activity in your backyard,
Yeah, yeah.
So and like I always say, weird strangeness follows me around wherever I go. So I don't know if it's following me or if I'm just more attuned to it. And I believe that a lot of times with paranormal activity, it's all about what frequency you're on, and if you can tap into the frequencies around you, you know. And something that's really interesting about my team is that most of us are trained in remote viewing. Okay,
Nice.
so we have, every human has enhanced human capabilities, right? But not everybody knows how to tap into it.
Mhm.
And they don't know, a lot of people don't even know that they have these abilities.
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, and I think that that really helps when you're out in the field doing research. Just being tapped in to something, it's a different frequency, and to be able to feel the subtleties and the energy changes and the shifts out there when you're in those deep dark woods.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the whole thing with tapping into your inner psyche. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, but when you're drinking all that tap water, it calcifies your pineal gland, your third eye. So
yeah,
you can get that pulled back a little bit with some, I know we were talking about last week with the Carlitos live stream. I think Brian and Al were saying if you start taking iodine drops every day,
yeah,
that kind of removes the calcification from your third eye. You can be in tune with your inner psyche, and you
yeah,
can kind of start picking up on these things and opening up your mind more. So that's a
yeah.
great thing. I need to get some iodine drops myself. So
Yeah, it's not a bad idea to have the tablets and the drops, all that stuff. But I don't take it very often, but I have. I also have quit using fluoridated toothpaste. So that
yeah.
and I have a really good Alexa Pure Pro water filter. I'm not sponsored by that company, but go to, get you a good water filter, everybody, because it's important. Times like this, like, our world is really crazy right now, if you guys hadn't noticed.
Just a little
So
bit.
yeah, just a little bit. So it's important to be able to be switched on psychically in a lot of ways. Just to, I mean, look at the world around you. Don't you feel like we're living in two different realities right now? I mean, I see it. I don't know. I don't know if you guys
Well,
see
that's
it.
just like the whole like we talked about before, the Mandela effect in the
Yeah,
pre-recorded studio. Like everyone's like saying like this happened, this person died, but then they're saying that they didn't die and they're still alive. Like how does that even happen?
yeah.
But when you're crossed between dimensions, it's going to happen like that, like you were saying.
Well, and we've got this weird thing with the whole CERN stuff out in Switzerland with that hydrogen collider, right?
Yeah,
It's what's the deal? I mean, we have a lot of really weird forces working for us and against us right now, and it's just important to shine your light and go out and do fun stuff, and live life, live a life that you'd want to write a book about, that people would read, just to
yeah.
just to put yourself, to get out of your comfort zone and whatnot, just to that opens you up psychically. I mean, just being your pure authentic self and doing fun stuff that scares the hell out of you.
Oh,
you know
absolutely,
I think everybody needs that right now. um
not a bad idea.
it's not, but like I was saying, my team, we're all trained in remote viewing, and that really helps us out in the paranormal field. Not only do I feel like we're more in tune, or I'm more in tune with this, with the stuff around me, all the crazy creatures and things out there, but it's um I don't know, it's just picking up on stuff better, and it's communicating. This may sound crazy to a lot of people, but I'm all about I know that Bigfoots are real. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and state that publicly if I hadn't already. Bigfoots are real. Okay. And it comes to a point now with me where I'd like to communicate with them. Okay. And so, how do you do that?
Mhm.
Psychically, right? Use that third eye, use, a telepathy and whatnot, So,
Well, a lot of people say, when they have encounters that they feel something's talking to them and they can't explain it. Like something's telling them to get out of the woods or
yeah,
leave, or something's telling them to go here or go there. And for some reason, when they go there, they feel safe and they don't feel in danger. Maybe that
yeah,
Bigfoot's protecting them or whatever it is, protecting
yeah.
them from something else in the woods, like a dog man or a rake or, who knows what.
That's terrifying too, right? Thinking about the rake out there. I just learned what that was not too long ago.
Well,
So,
apparently, the rake it's been around for years, and they kind of, I think, creepypasta or Reddit gave it the name the rake, but it's been around, like, called the crawler, the Nosferatu. It had all kinds of weird names
yeah,
before, and now they're calling it the rake. So, I mean, that is creepy. Something that's like pale, translucent white, almost
yeah,
like like the predator when it's cloaking almost, but like a pasty white thing, and it's this thing. It's just coming at you.
yeah.
There's nothing like, there's so many accounts of people like shooting weapons at these things and firing off, and military shooting at them, and it doesn't do nothing to them. They just keep coming. So I would not want to have one coming after me for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
ghouls.
I'm not going to say if I do or do not carry a firearm with me out in the woods, but I'm always protected. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
But
well,
yeah,
you
you
have to.
wonder. You have to
There's
be.
there's other things besides cryptids out there you have to worry about. You have to worry about predatory animals like
Yeah,
bear, grizzly bear, coyote, wolf,
yeah,
mountain lion, cougars. Those things, there's too many attacks of people getting killed and maimed in the woods just by those animals. Not to say
yeah,
there's other things out there, but you got to watch. Yeah, the cool.
yeah. It's actually the people that I worry about.
That too. The people
I'm
are
not
more
even
more
worried about
dangerous than the
Bigfoot.
animals. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. I don't know. Well, speaking about all the craziness that's out there is really, disappearing in the woods too. Think about all the people who go missing in our parks every year in the
Missing
national parks.
411. Yeah, David
Yeah,
Polite covered that.
and the park systems don't even report the numbers.
They won't report it because they don't want to lose the revenue that they're getting. So they won't even mention it because they won't even open investigations. Like, I think the FBI has to come in and they get involved. But when it comes to like the Park Service, they don't, they turn their cheek and bat the eye and they're like, oh, we know what you're talking about.
It makes you wonder why. Because in the numbers. I mean, if you've read the David Politis book series, and watched him he's got a YouTube channel, and he's got a movie that's out. Um, it was like pulling teeth trying to get any numbers from the government about any of
Yeah,
this, and
yeah,
I just did a show a few weeks ago with my friend Craig, who is one of my teammates. He's a cave specialist, and we talked about the cave systems being in correlation to all the clusters of missing people all over the national park systems,
yeah.
and all over the
I've
country.
I've heard that, especially like
Yeah.
in Kentucky, Tennessee areas, clusters of caves. I mean, they just go forever. I mean, and not even that. The
Mhm.
whole Appalachian Trail mountain
Yeah.
covers, that's all engulfed in caves and all connects like the northern states and the southern states. So it's crazy. You're right.
Yeah. Well, it makes you wonder, like, what is the correlation? And, also, there's just a whole lot of stuff going on in those areas. Like where I research, there's a lot of quartz and a lot of minerals, the same thing, like huge clusters of this kind of stuff. So, like, it makes you wonder, like, well, is that, a conductor for like people going missing? And I have to tell you, my team has, we've discovered portals out in the woods. So, and actually have video evidence of those opening up, and, what we call the black cube, um, which has shown up and in a heat signature and a FLIR. And we actually sent team members inside to walk into this cube, and they disappeared
Really.
off of the heat signature. And then they walked back out of it and they reappeared. They lost radio contact and everything. So we have to wonder, you know, is this where people are going? Is this where all the missing people are going? I don't know. People think that Bigfoot's taking them and kidnapping them and putting them in a cave, but I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
deep underground military
yeah.
infrastructure is another thing, that
The
anomaly
doves,
that
yeah,
you can't hear the doves. I mean, that's a whole nother story within itself. And we've covered plenty of podcasts with other shows that we do, brother shows that we do all work on it, and we've covered so many things that like the cover-ups are insane.
Yeah, well, it's interesting when you have like military people in full military outfits, coming out of the woods saying they're doing the same thing that we're doing. We're out there Bigfoot researching. So, like, what is that about?
That's crazy.
I don't know. There's just so much that's being kept from us. That our government knows more than they're telling us. But I don't know. But it's really weird.
My Willie says hello to you. I don't know if you've been a fan of yours. My Willie S57. My Wally. So
yeah. Hey, hey guys.
Right.
Man, I'm glad to be here with you guys tonight.
Do you want to ask? I have some questions brought your way, or because I know someone asked me about questions.
Well, I see that. Yeah, where can we go to? Well, you can't see this evidence yet. Okay, so the evidence has not been released, and honestly, we don't release our evidence to the public. Okay. There may or may not be something going on in the future that will be public where we will show. Hey Craig, I see you on there, but there will come a time where it will be released. And so, but not right now. And you have to wonder, like, is the general public ready for all this disclosure yet? I mean, I think they are, with the Bigfoot research, like I've stated, it, not only is it Bigfoot out there, but we're encountering UFOs and aliens and portals, and interdimensional beings and just weird stuff. And it's I don't know. It's there's just too much going on out there. It's like a whole range, and it's all connected in some way. And maybe the military is connected with. I don't know. Like, why, if there's dumb bases, the deep underground military bases where we're doing research and stuff, and these black boxes are showing up out there, are they being beamed up and down to the military base? I mean, are they going off to like Mars?
Well, if there is a Mars, I mean, we're going to be covering Phil Schneider this week, coming week, or I think this week, coming week, or next week with Three Beers podcast. Me and some of the guys, we're going to be doing a show about Phil Schneider and like his whole relation, how all the government cover-ups and his mysteriously suicide, death. So we're going to be covering that. Looking forward to that.
Oh God, maybe we should not talk so much about that. You said suicide. Oh Lord.
Yeah. I don't want to get blacked out. Someone's asking about visits from our friends in black. So have you had any of those?
I personally have not. My team might have, may or may not have. So one of my teammates, Trey Hudson, actually wrote a book called The Meadow Project. And some of you guys might have heard of him. He's been on Coast to Coast, and he's done the rounds on the podcast. He actually came on my show. He was my first guest. And Trey's a good friend of mine. And he took a bunch of our field notes and included those in his book and things that we've done out in the field, in addition to being like his biography in a way, Right. But it's really all about disclosure, because it's all real life stuff that happened to us out in the field. Wait, what was the question? I just lost my train of thought there. Did you ask a question?
That was the question.
The Friends in Black. Yes. Okay. I have so many stories to tell about that stuff. So the Men in Black. Okay. Yeah. Well, this was actually a woman in black. And if you get that book, The Meadow Project by Trey Hudson, you will see that there was a night that we had a lot of really crazy activity out in the field. We call it the Meadow. And a strange woman showed up and was totally dressed for business, like out in the middle of nowhere. And, just acting out of sorts. It looked like she was drunk and like all the sorts of stuff, but she had on a business suit with like dress shoes, and everybody else had on, their camo hunting clothes with their boots, and it was just really weird. And she ended up knowing people and just was dropping names. It was just really weird. So there's a possibility that some of the team had a visit from a MIB.
That's funny you say that, because my good friend Jack Carey was out in the West, out in the desert, doing some investigation on Skinwalker, reports. And he said he had a female kind of come to him and the guy he was investigating with. And it was more like a black-eyed kid sighting. opposed to
Oh,
Men in
yeah.
Black. But he said just the whole experience, the way the person was acting was just like wasn't right, just didn't seem out of
Yeah.
place. It was more to be compared to like a black-eyed kid sighting or a black-eyed teenager, adolescent.
Yeah.
But still, it's just still out of the ordinary for someone just to pop out like that out of nowhere when it's just two of them investigating out in the middle of the
Yeah.
desert and no one's out there but her. She kind of just pops out of nowhere. So he was kind of distraught by that.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have anyone that approaches you out in the middle of nowhere in the
Yeah,
mountains, in the woods, I don't know, it's a little weird. So, but it's not. Nothing is too weird for me anymore because
no,
we have so much anomalous activity all the time, and that's just even in my normal life. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I have been inoculated to the paranormal and all the scariness of all of this for a long time. Okay. And not to say I don't get freaked out sometimes with the activity that I've experienced and what I still experience when we're out in the woods. But, you know, yeah, I would not take my son out in the woods. Let's put it that way, where we go research. Like I need to take him camping sometime, and that will start soon. He's still a little kid, but knowing what I know and seeing what I've seen, I'm not ready to to even take my dog, you know, out in the woods where we go. So,
got a question for you.
mhm.
So
What
what do
do
you?
you believe BECs are? What is a BEC?
It's abbreviated for black-eyed kids, black-eyed
Oh,
children.
sounds okay. I thought it was like a burger from Wendy's or something.
No,
Just-
bacon, egg, and cheese. Yeah, there
oh my gosh, I'm getting hungry apparently.
you go.
Um, but I believe it's all real. I mean, you know what? First of all, if people have been reporting it, why would it not be real? I have actually seen a person who the only way I could describe it, this was back when I was in my 20s, long time ago. Um, there was a gentleman that showed up at my door. I lived in downtown Atlanta in a very haunted house, might I say. And it was I lived in like in a basement apartment down off of Ponce de Leon Avenue, if anybody
Nice.
knows where that is. And now it was creepy down there. And of course that area is built on a Civil War battleground, basically right
Right.
there where my
So
house
it's
was.
got a lot of activities, probably residual energy too.
Oh, it was horrible. And my house had a very dark energy about it. And like I said, I was in the basement apartment. I mean, I came home two different nights when I lived there for about 4 years, and there were blankets of flies on the ceiling.
Hmm,
Okay. Like
weird.
masses like flying through like black masses of energy floating through my house. It was bad. I didn't like living there. But I had a gentleman knock on my door one night, and I had a window that I could look out of, and I peeked out this window, and there was a man standing there, and he had black eyes. Like his eyes were black, and the only way I could describe it was that he had no soul. Okay, and maybe he was just drunk. I don't know, but I don't think so. I mean, it's never. I've thought about that often throughout my life ever since that happened. Um, he had no eye. He had just black eyes.
Just blacked out
So
because no
yeah,
people just blacked out. I think
yeah,
it's a cross between an alien and a human hybrid, and they're kind of trying to blend in, and that's why they kind of seem out of place because they're always wearing like out of date clothes. They're always kind of like
yeah,
emotionless. They don't have that emotion because they're hybrid alien human. They don't have that. They're losing one gene that the humans have is the emotion, so they don't have it. That's
yeah,
my theory. I mean, that's what I think. I can't really don't have one to examine in my basement, so I can't really give you a full
yeah.
disclosure on that. But that's just my theory. Let's
I
see.
agree. Yeah. And that leads to the question, like, what does it mean to be human? Like, that's why
Yeah,
it's so important for us humans to be human right now. Okay. So,
another question.
all right, where is that? Is Leesburg? Is that in North Carolina?
I don't know. It says activity in Adele,
Do you think they
Leesburg, Virginia,
are
maybe.
there? I've heard there's activity in Adele. I don't know. Maybe it's in Georgia. I'm not sure. I'm
Um,
not sure. Hey, there's activity everywhere.
yeah,
So,
if you got water,
yeah,
woods, and wildlife, I mean, it's perfect habitat. All you need is water, some food in the woods, and cover. Al Santoriga, my good friend Al the
yeah.
Godfather Goomba, he's got a question
I
for you.
see that. Yeah. I have lost time in the woods actually. And, it's something that we have as a team, my teams have experienced. Actually, one of the first weekends that I ever went into the woods on an expedition, I had a very profound ET experience, alien UFO kind of thing happen. Whereas I was in the woods looking for a gigantic primate, um, that weekend, that whole team pretty much had been Bigfoot based, and 3D monkey in the woods kind of thing.
Right.
Well, that weekend we had so much like UFO activity, and the whole team experienced it. Everybody did, and so it kind of switched from being the primate in the woods to being a full blown. This is everything. This is like way bigger than just Bigfoot. Okay, but that weekend, that there's one night where I had the UFO activity going on over my head and all around me all night, and the guy, my teammate that I was with, he and I were kind of posted up in a field that we call it the UFO field now. Back then it was just the field, field 1 or something, and but we were there for hours. We got there about 3 p.m, and we were there till after midnight, sitting there, in our little hiding spots, with our ghillie suits and whatever on, trying. We were hoping that Bigfoot was going to walk up on us, and we brought the group in to act like human behavior, going out in the field and laughing and being loud, and that was the whole gist of it. Was like bring the Bigfoots out and
get their attention, get their interest in you to see what's going on,
and maybe they'd walk up on he and I, and we'd be able to see the Bigfoot. Well, looking back on that now, it's kind of it's fun to do that kind of stuff, but like Bigfoots always know you're there. I mean, we're not fooling anybody. Okay, so
they know you're there from the minute you get out into the woods.
Yeah.
When you get out of your car, they hear you, they feel you, they sense you, they know whether you have good intentions, they know you have bad intentions, and they know whether to hide or not. So
no, they know you're coming. They know you're coming before you get there. Okay, so they absolutely know you're there. But anyways, when we got back to base camp that night, but before we actually went back to base camp, we realized that all of our equipment malfunctioned. Okay, of course, that's kind of typical when you're doing Bigfoot research or any kind of paranormal research.
Yeah.
A lot of times your batteries will drain. Time changes. I mean, don't take a nice phone out there, and if you don't want to, get it ruined, something will zap you.
My night vision got zapped, and it's like, it was probably I didn't pay much for it. I traded something for it, but it was like an $80 monocular night vision device, and I let my wife borrow it to look in the woods, and she saw what she claimed to be was a large ape standing, 20 feet from her in my backyard, and then I went to go grab it and use it and record it, and it just bugged out and it wouldn't come on anymore, so we got zapped.
Yeah, that happens. It's something that's very typical, and so I've actually learned that I don't even like to take equipment out there. I mean, we've got like REM pods and recording devices and all the Geiger meters and all that stuff, and I find I get more activity if I have nothing, if I have no equipment, but back to the missing time.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to go around that. Okay.
We keep jumping around. It's all good.
We do. We have a lot to talk about. The missing time, my partner and I, we realized that like the time had changed on our equipment, and on his, it went forward an hour, and on mine, it went backwards an hour.
Oh, wow.
So that was really weird right there. So how do you explain that? Because, we do our baselines when we get out there. And so everything's, the right time is on the clocks, and, we were monitoring it all day. We'd been out there since 3:00 in the afternoon.
Wow. Long day.
Yeah, it was long, but it was fun. It was fun. It was fun. But considering we had all this like UFO activity and stuff going on, I don't know, and that's where the whole remote viewing thing came in. Okay. Nice. Because we had been out there, and it obviously affected me. And so, we knew that there was something more abnormal that happened than just like Bigfoot stuff going on. And so got back to base camp, and we all agreed there was something way more than just Bigfoot. So let's just say our whole team was trained in remote viewing shortly after that. And so we could all kind of look into these events and see what really went down. And, nice. And just to, just to be more switched on in the woods. That's kind of how that, came about.
Wow. It's pretty impressive. A pretty impressive encounter. See, someone has a question about Dr. Matthew Johnson. Are you familiar with him?
No, never heard of him. Not yet.
Okay.
We'll have to look him up.
Okay, and Larry said the place where he was describing Adele was Albany, Georgia. So
Albany. That's
Albany,
all we
yeah.
call Albany in Georgia.
Well,
Yes.
I call Albany because I'm from up north. I'm from New York, New Jersey, New York, and we call
Yeah.
that part Albany. So yeah,
I call it Albany too, but the people down in Albany call it
right.
Albany apparently. So yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we
yeah.
actually, there's a lot of activity in middle Georgia. And so that Albany is down by Florida. Okay.
Mhm.
It's way down south. Now there's a lot of activity. One of the biggest UFO sighting regions is in near West Point Lake in Georgia. So LaGrange area, I think it's one of like the UFO capitals of the country or world. So, all right. Do I believe, what's a demon? you know,
Yeah.
that brings up the question as to what is a demon. Someone's asking, does she believe the person with the black eyes was a demon? Um, I don't know. People have different interpretations as to what a demon is. Like a demon could be an alien. I mean, a demon could be interdimensional. It could be something out of the pit of hell. I don't know. I don't like to label things because I do remote viewing and we don't like to label. We like to describe what it is and then don't put a label on it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could definitely be. Hey, Peter. Yeah. Check out my YouTube channel, everybody.
So what is your YouTube
It's
channel called? If anybody wants to check it
yeah.
out.
If anybody wants to go to my YouTube channel, it's Oracle of the South. Okay, and my name's Jessica Jones, Oracle of the South. But yeah, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have a few Bigfoot research interviews on there with my teammates, but it's mostly like I read tarot cards and stuff. So it's
Nice,
mostly
nice.
spiritual guidance.
Right, right. Now, do
Speaking
you
of demons,
also do a radio station too? Don't you do your podcast on the radio? If you want to plug
yeah,
that real quick,
yeah, I do.
go
I
ahead.
have I have a digital broadcasting show called Into the Portal with Jessica Oracle of the South, and it's on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. And so it's all about cryptids. Okay, so I just started that in October, and I've had some amazing guests on, and some of the biggest, best researchers in the field have been on, and uh, you know, artists, researchers, authors, just you name it. I've had on my show. And so this year I start back next Saturday, and I have a lot of shows to do this year. So you guys please tune into that. It's Saturday night at 8 p.m. I'm not trying to take your viewers from you,
No,
Tom.
that's okay. Trust me, most of my views are viewed after my thing airs. So usually most of the views come afterwards, like the day after it airs. So it doesn't bother
Yeah.
me at all. I mean, I'm lucky to get 10 or 15 people in the live chat if I'm lucky, and I'm good with that because that's how you grow a channel. You don't got to be overzealous about getting people to come on your show. Just,
Yes.
if you come, you come, and it's great that you have you here. But if you're not, I'll see you when you come around later. That's all. No worries.
Absolutely. No, I'm the
I
same
appreciate my
way.
guests, and
Yeah.
they appreciate the show. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, no, it's fun, and the more we can put ourselves out there and get this information out to people too, the better. Because I'm all about raising the consciousness of this entire planet, and if my story can help one or two people just to wake up, my job is done. That is my job, and I'm not here to prove that Bigfoot's
Yeah.
real to anybody. I'm not here to prove that UFOs are real or aliens or interdimensionals. I'm just here to tell my story. Yes, I'm friends with Bill. Actually, Bill's my producer.
Nice.
Yes, I do. I
Well,
know Bill.
then you and Al have mutual friends. You'll get
Yeah.
along good with Al and get in his circle. So
Yeah. That's
yes.
awesome. Yeah. Now, does Al do Bigfoot research as well?
Al, if you want to comment real quick what you do, he does UFO, Bigfoot. He has some psychic as well
Oh, cool.
abilities. Yeah, and his partner's Brian Bowden. They're part of the New York State Sasquatch organization. Hopefully, I said it
Yeah.
right, Al. If I did,
That's awesome.
you
Yeah.
could bash me later. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to need them to come on my show soon. So you guys hit me up. Hit me up. Okay. Oracle of the South at gmail.com.
There you go. There you go. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I have like 50 something shows to do this year. So
You got a
I
big
need,
list to fill in, so you need
yes.
a lot of guests, and
I
I'll
mean, I'm ready to make new friends too. So, I never meant to go public with this, Tom, ever. This is not something that I planned to do. I just, it's kind of just happened. And so, I had been asked to speak at Camp Disclosure this past year in Georgia, and I went there, and I didn't, I was actually kind of worried about talking about my paranormal adventures because my teams are very private in a lot of ways, and there's a lot of stuff that awesome. Al. We're gonna get you on my show too. All right, but we, you know. My team is very private and we don't really talk about our research, but like I said, I'm a member of several different teams. And so there is one team that, my friend Trey did write a book. And so I feel like I can talk about that research with you guys.
Right.
And so I've been able to discuss that. And what happens with that team pretty much happens with all the teams. Okay. So, but we can get more up close and personal talking about the anomalous studies and observation group stuff.
Absolutely.
So, but anyways, yeah, I never meant to go public with any of this. And after I went to Camp Disclosure, I met, I stayed in a cabin with some amazing people, and I met some amazing people that were all speakers there. And my friend Apollo, who has a show called Apollo's Odyssey, had me on her show. And it went from there, and I somehow ended up with my own show after that. So,
nice. Yeah, that's kind of what I did. I was kind of involved with some podcasting. I was kind of like a moderator on a friend's podcasting, and I just kind of decided that me and a friend decided to kind of branch out, do our own thing because we wanted to get the truth out to people and just show everyone that there's stuff out there that you can't, that can't be explained, but there's stuff really going out there. If you kind of pay attention, you'll get to see, something that's going on out in the woods. All you gotta do is just go out in the woods and hang out, and something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You just got to get off your phone, get off your computer. Don't watch the news. Just do something productive. Instead of trying to be, everything on the computer, because you're not going to find everything on the computer. Sometimes you just got to get out there and do it. So,
it's all about getting your hiking boots on and getting your booty in the woods. Okay. Mm-hmm. Everyone should do it. We need a reset button every now and then. All of humanity needs that. And even if you just get out in a park or go to a creek somewhere or whatever, like get out back in nature. That's something that we're all missing. I have to get out in the woods occasionally just to reset because, this world is stressful, y'all. Y'all know it's stressful, right?
Big time.
And we're just pumped full of fear all the time. I don't even I don't watch the news at all. I don't even watch even internet, website, alternative news anymore. Like I've stopped, I have one guy that I watch on YouTube that I get the news from.
I have a subscription to Israeli News Live, and he does some pretty good stuff. He's always kind of telling what's really going on in the world, and he's kind of borderline getting his channel dropped because he's saying so much truth that they don't like what he's doing. But that being said, though, I am a deer hunter, so I kind of know, I can sit in the woods for 4 hours in a tree stand and just not see anything and just be happy because I'm in tune with nature. And it's almost like, it's almost like therapy almost,
It is absolutely I have to go just to get my head straight sometimes, Yeah.
Question.
I see that question. Do you believe cryptids can go invisible to electronic devices? Well, I just believe cryptids can go invisible, period. So, yeah, I have had an experience where something ran up behind me, and I was saying, I can feel energies, and everybody can. And I was out in the field and was walking, and I knew all the guys. I was kind of bait, you know what I'm saying? We do the bait thing every now and then.
Bait.
Yeah, I was the bait, and but I was dared to walk up a field, and which later became the UFO field that I was talking about earlier. And I was walking up there. Well, I knew all the guys were going to be down at the bottom of the field, down at the hill, with watching me through their night vision and their FLIR. So if something were to get me, they'd at least know. Okay. So I was walking up to the tree line, which was really, about a football, 100 yards up the way. And I got halfway up there, and I felt like somebody was running up behind me full speed, and I could feel it. And I kind of stopped in my tracks, and something ran right up on me and knocked my feet out from underneath me, but there was nothing there. Okay. So there was nothing there. Yeah. So
something knocked you on your feet. Something did it. Just you didn't see it, with your own eyes because
it was not in their FLIR either. They did not pick anything up on the night vision. No FLIR, no nothing. There was nothing. But something absolutely ran up on me, and I know it did, and I felt it. So yeah, I do believe they go invisible. I don't know yeah, and that answers the question about the devices. Yeah, absolutely. They definitely. I don't know if all interdimensionals and creatures and aliens. I don't know if they all go invisible, but I believe that Bigfoot does. Yeah.
Well, that's just like when people say they're following Bigfoot tracks, and all of a sudden the track stops and there's nothing else. There just stops in the middle of nowhere, and there's not one track. It's like, where does it go? It goes either to a portal in another dimension. It just drops
Yeah.
off. It just disappears and fades away.
Yeah, we've
Makes
experienced that a
sense.
lot, and it's not only Bigfoot tracks. It's like tire marks, tire tracks, and stuff. Like will just
Yeah,
disappear out of fields. It's like, well, where did this car go? It didn't back up or anything. So makes you wonder.
absolutely.
Yeah, I believe that they're interdimensional. That's my opinion. I don't think that Bigfoot is coming in and out of caves. I haven't really seen any places where I think they've been bedding down and sleeping or anything. I mean, where else could they go? You know,
Yeah,
but we do have the black cubes on film. So, and people disappearing into them and coming back out of them. So maybe that has something to do with it.
that's wild. So it's just a little black cube just laying there, and it's just kind of
It's a big black cube.
a
Yeah.
big black cube, like the size of what maybe a doorway or something.
Like, I think it was like 30 feet. I mean, it was big, like a big black
Oh
cube.
wow,
It's like a
that's
big black cube.
it's
Like,
like a
and
like a base size of a base
yeah,
probably.
but it's
Wow.
not. You couldn't see it with your own eyes, though. It's you can't see it at all unless you're looking. It was the heat signature. It was like cold. Okay,
Hmm.
so yeah, it was only in the FLIR. You couldn't see it with your own eyes. That's why people don't know. And the guys that walked into it said that the whole environment changed. Okay, it went from being a very brushy kind of landscape with thorns and briars and like really really dense vegetation to being smooth and there being nothing on the ground. And so when they walked in it,
That's wild. I mean,
yeah,
it makes sense. Like when certain devices can pick it up, but the human eye can't. It's almost like it's projected on another frequency or another spectrum of light that the eyes
yeah,
can't see. But you get the right device and you can see it with that camera, like a spectrum camera.
yeah.
So it
Well,
makes sense.
yeah. I mean, you got to think about it. Like, how does some people see some paranormal activity and other people don't? Um, how is it that I've had orbs floating around my kid in my house, and the person with me didn't see it at all until that he looked through his phone and saw them through the phone as they were floating around. But my son and I could see them with our own eyes. So it's all about that frequency and what you can tap into. Yeah. So I think that it's all about frequency, energy, frequency, vibration, right?
That's the secrets of the universe. If you
Yeah.
can harness that, you can do
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
And it was like the
Absolutely.
Predator, Peter. It was like the Predator. I've actually seen stuff like that where
The
it's almost
cloaking,
like a what? Yeah, it was like cloaking.
like
And I
translucent clear through almost like you can see
yes,
through it, you can see
yep,
the image, but it's clear. It's almost like it's projecting energy through it, but you can't see it in a full shape. You just see like translucent, like
yeah.
tape almost. Yeah, it's
It's like
wild.
water or something, or you can just
Yeah,
it's just in the atmosphere. It's just something you can see in the atmosphere has changed. It's really weird, but it is like the Predator, which is really it's kind of cool. It's kind of scary and terrifying at the same time. But yeah. Yeah, I've experienced a lot of weird stuff.
it sounds. I mean, it sounds like you have a lot to talk about. I mean, you lived through it all, you've experienced it all, and you can kind of tell how you came out of it, and kind of give truth and knowledge how things are come to be in this world. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
crazy it's a crazy world we live in, and a lot of stuff is unexplainable. But because of the abilities that you kind of picked up over the years, you can kind of explain it, or you're kind of more in tune to these things. Like they say, once you start seeing these things, once you kind of pick up on your senses to see them, you're always going to see them. Like, and so as they say, be
Yeah.
careful what you're looking for, because you're never going to stop seeing them.
Right. Well, you got to be careful what you're playing with too. If there's some people that don't know the severity of what you're dealing with, okay? And that's when it comes okay.
All
I just
right.
saw that it says sorry, I got distracted. All
No,
right, now.
the
We'll
Godfather's
talk about Bill.
yeah, the
Okay.
Godfather spoken.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I look forward to meeting you, Al. Okay. But yeah, what were we just saying? I forgot. I just got distracted.
We were talking about
So
portals.
It is.
We're
It
talking
is.
about
It is
portals.
so easy for me to get distracted on
That's
these things
okay. We
sometimes.
were
So
talking about kind of like how you can kind of see these things, and like how your mind works, how you can kind of train your mind to, like, once you start seeing them, you start seeing them all the time. You
well, you
know.
you don't want to mess around with you don't know the severity of what you're messing with out there
Yeah.
sometimes. And so there are people who, it's like the same as playing with the Ouija board, right? Like,
Yeah.
I did play with the Ouija board one time when I was 15. Okay. I'll never
I,
forget
I
this.
think everybody did when they were a
Okay.
teenager. It was kind of like the thing to do. So I get it.
Yeah, it was terrifying. Okay. Because you said, of course you're like, are you an evil demon? And it shot up to yes. And we're just screaming and running out of the house. So, you know, you know what you're getting into,
Yeah. Oh
before you
no.
go out.
Trust me. I know because our Ouija
Yeah.
board experience led to a thunderstorm that came out of nowhere after we went outside after playing with it, and lightning struck me and my friends like 5 feet from us, and we almost got struck by it. But luckily, it was a good distance, 5
Oh
10 feet from
man.
us, and it was right after we got done playing with the Ouija board. So after that experience, we're like, we're never touching one again.
Oh my God. God was like,
It
get
was
your hands
crazy.
off of that thing,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, but you got to know what you're dealing with because, there are, you know, aliens and stuff, there's, I was contacted a while back about a family was being visited, let's say, by aliens, ETs. And, there were pictures and, it was all fun and games when one person in the house was wanting to call these things in, there's some people that claim, and I know people like that who say, I can call in UFOs. You want to go outside, let's call these things in. It's like a parlor trick. Isn't that what they call it?
Yeah.
And so you do stuff like that. And the consequences can be like your kids start getting abducted, out of your house. And, you start wondering, like, why are the kids not waking up for school in the morning? And why are they all disheveled every day now? And,
Mhm.
you have to know what you're dealing with. And when you start realizing how severe consequences can be when you do stuff like that, you stop doing it and you don't do it. There are very powerful energies and forces out there that we need to be careful about dealing with sometimes. And
Right.
so I'm not saying don't go out and do Bigfoot research and, go do some whoops in the woods,
Right. Right.
but just know what you're dealing with and understand that
Exactly.
it's serious. Okay. And, and that you can definitely get hurt. Okay. And not all these Bigfoots are nice. Okay. Right.
No.
Some of them have a bad attitude. Some of them are, had a bad day.
Some of them hate people too. Like some
Yeah.
of them had bad experiences, maybe at a young age with humans, and they detest humans so much that if they see one, they'll kill you, and they don't care.
Right.
And so that's you don't want to have that encounter with that specific Bigfoot at that time. And not only that, sometimes other things can disguise themselves to be looking like or come across as a Bigfoot, and they're not. It's something else, and
Yeah.
it'll mess things up big time.
Yeah, you never know. You just don't know what you're dealing with out there. And so, yeah. Yeah, I just stay away from, even with the ghost hunting and stuff, like I've been visited by ghosts my entire life, okay? And that's kind of how I got started. I remember the first time I actually remember seeing a ghost was in a haunted house that I did some volunteer work at this agency when I was in high school. And I opened up a a door to like a staircase that went downstairs into the basement. And there was like a glowing orb and it had like ribbons like floating off of the sides. It was just it was wild. And I thought, wow, this is
Wow,
like the first time I had ever seen a ghost, I guess.
that's
Um,
crazy.
of course, I see orbs in the woods all the time. So I'm not sure if that's something you have on your property, Tom, but we have orbs.
I've never picked up the orbs on my property, but I've just felt the energies of certain areas that it kind of picks up more energy. Like some have higher energy levels, maybe because it has higher level of quartz crystal maybe in it. Because I see that stuff all
Yeah.
over my property. But that being said, I've never seen a ghost. I've seen an orb one time. Actually, I've seen it twice. I was in a Charleston cemetery on a ghost hunt many years ago when I was working out there. I went on one of those little ghost hunts that they did before they got really popular. And then I saw one in an old psychiatric hospital that was abandoned in New Jersey before they knocked it down. So yeah, I've seen an orb there, and it scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, I'm a little bit weary. I'm wary to go to any kind of psychiatric hospital or a ghost. Like I ghost hunting is great, but I know that you can get attachments, and I got to keep my vibration high, my vibrational frequency high, so these things don't follow me home.
Right. Got a question from
Yeah.
Al.
How big are the orbs that you see? They're all different sizes. I actually had one that floated into my tent one night out in the woods, and we actually had it on camera. It floated from my tent into the tents down the way from me. I remember it just coming in my tent, floating around my tent cot, and and it floated out. But it was about that big, about as big as my head. Okay,
Right.
so that but we have like small orbs, we have big orbs. I actually saw an orb one night that showed up over the tree line out in the mountains. Okay, stop. Sorry, my son was over here.
That's okay.
I have my son home tonight. So
what color was it?
Well, this one looked like I'm going to call it like a fireball. Okay, so this was it was white and kind of orangish, but it looked like the moon. Okay, and it showed up over the tree line. This is when we were doing a Bigfoot investigation, like a research weekend, and it just sat there for a minute, and it just slowly drifted down behind the trees, and it made no noise at all. And it was like I described it as like a flare, like someone had shot a flare gun, and it kind of like slowly like went down, but it was huge. It literally looked like the moon. So I don't know. We get all sorts of weird stuff. Yeah.
That's pretty wild. The one I saw in the psychiatric hospital was like an orange, like a glowing bright orange color, and it was about the size of probably about the size of an orange, like the fruit, the orange. Mm-hmm. That's about how big it was, and it moved from one side of the room to the other. And once I saw that, I was like, man, I'm getting the hell out of here. And this is back before. This was like back 2000 something, before all this fancy equipment was out. Nobody had equipment. We had those cheap 2 deep cell battery flashlights, and maybe a little cheap little voice recorder camera that you put in your boot or something with a little micro cassette tape. That's about all we had back then. So I think all we have is a flashlight. Right? It worked for EVPs if you played it back. But that being said, I mean that was like, I'm getting the hell out of here because I wasn't ready for that.
Well, those actually probably work better because you couldn't really erase those. I mean, think about
it's not the digital stuff now. There's too much interference. If you have the stuff with the actual tape in it, the tape cassette, that would pick up more stuff than digital, because digital will have more background disturbances. So I've heard a lot of that.
I mean, a lot of times when I do, like I said, I don't really even carry equipment out there that much anymore because everything goes haywire. And a lot of times our EVPs will be erased. So, but by the time we get back to base camp, they're gone.
That's another theory of mine too. Like why people always say like, how come no one gets a really clear shot of Bigfoot? Well, if you think back in the '60s when the Patterson Gimlet film was taken, they were using an 8mm crank camera with actual film on it, and they were working the old camera. Well, that thing picks up. It picks up, it'll pick up movement at a total different level than if say your cell phone, or you get like a 4K little camcorder that's digital with a little SD card that goes inside it. Well, that's going to have a lot of disturbances. It's not going to pick up the way an old 8mm actual film camera is going to work. So my theory is it was so clear because it was run on actual film and not digital. So that's kind of what I always said. And I'm running with it. So that's my theory.
I don't know.
So everyone go get your go get your 8mm camera and go looking for Bigfoot in the woods, and you'll get a clear shot.
Hey, you know what? I don't even. I like I said, I'm not trying to prove anything to anybody, so I don't care to take pictures. I've seen them.
Exactly.
I would rather have the hands-on experience than to try to fumble around with equipment and try to catch them on film.
That's the other thing I'm thinking too. Like, I'm just putting it out there. If you're trying to get interaction with these things, you want their trust. You want them to think that you want them to understand that you're a true, genuine, good-hearted person. They see you with a camera trying to film them. They're going to see that you're trying to steal their images, and they know you're going to use it to better yourself. And whether it's putting on the internet or trying to get famous from it, they're not going to show themselves to you no matter what. So if you're not using nothing, you got better chances on seeing one.
Right.
Plain and simple.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've never, like I said, I never meant to go public with any of this. This is not, anything that I'm looking for fame or fortune with. I'm just sharing my story. Apparently, I've got some pretty good stories, so people like to hear them. So
that's pretty awesome. Same thing with me. I'm not trying to get famous out here. I'm everything I Everything I have is self-funded. I work for all my stuff. I don't ask for no donations. There's no
Yeah.
need for that. I do it on my own. It's kind of like a hobby I like to do, and it's fun doing it. And I have a little, couple subscribers here and there, and it's fun. So love it.
Yeah, it was same here. Same here, absolutely. And like I said, a lot of the guys on my teams, they don't want to be known,
Right?
or
They don't want to be known.
and
It's kind of
and
confidentiality.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's just, and a lot of the real researchers that have been out there for a long time doing this, you'll never even know their names. Okay. So,
Yeah,
you know, but we're all just on a quest for knowledge, and we're all on a quest to know more and to, I don't want to wait till I'm dead to find out, like all the answers to life, like in the afterlife. I want to know now. And
yeah.
that's what keeps me going, really, and keeps me
That's a
in
good
the
one.
field. Bring bacon and maple donuts. Oh, I would eat all that before the Bigfoot had them.
Yeah, you say bacon. That's all you need to say. But I've
Yeah,
heard I've heard
yeah,
you start cooking bacon out in the woods. You'll bring any animal within the 50-mile radius will be at
yeah,
your hand trying to eat it.
yeah, yeah. I know. I don't even waste time like trying to cook in the woods anymore. I just take my oatmeal, So oatmeal and coffee. But yeah,
Easy,
yeah,
easy.
trying to attract all the bears and stuff.
There you go. That's cool.
Yeah.
So, any more like UFO experiences besides like the family? Like, I mean, I used to have some abilities and whatnot, but do you want to talk about that? Some like UFO experiences?
I mean, I see UFOs all the time. I mean, all you have to do is look up to the sky, just look up, look to the stars, look to the sky, and yeah, I mean, it wasn't until I started researching alien abductions that I started having big, like up close and personal experiences with ETs and stuff. So, it all stemmed from that weekend in the woods doing the Bigfoot expedition, that first one I went on. We did have a lot of alien, or not alien, we had UFO activity. And so it was recommended that our whole team start reading, Communion and what are those other books? The Threat and
Fire,
Alien Life
fire
and
in the
all,
sky.
yeah,
Yeah,
all that stuff. And Skinwalker Ranch, I
yeah.
mean, we the place that we actually do most of our research we call it the South Skinwalker Ranch, because all of the activity there rivals that of Skinwalker Ranch. We've had all that happen,
So it's
everything
a
and
it's a
more.
nice hot spot. You're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, it's a great hot spot. Yeah, I mean, we take people there occasionally, but you got to sign an NDA. So
I would love to go out there. I just
yeah,
need to sign an NDA and travel to meet you and your team and do some investigating. That'd be awesome.
we have a good time out there. It's a lot of fun. Honestly, we just have fun. And if we don't get any activity, we don't always have activity, by the way, you guys. Like
Yeah.
we go out there, it's dead, literally. Like there's nothing going on, or it's raining, or it's
Yeah.
cold.
Well, even a bad day of squatching is my friend Squatching Indiana told me a bad day of squatching is better than a good day of living normal
Yeah.
mundane life. So
Oh man, just getting out in the woods.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, the haunted house that I lived in. All right. Well, I mean, I could talk about that. I could do a whole show on that.
well, we can kind of
Yeah.
close it out on that if you want to. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, I can talk about that haunted house. It was just there was there's just an energy to it. I have a lot of prophetic dreams, and I knew that there was a man, an old fella that lived there, and he would come to me in my dreams. And I'm all about, if there's a ghost or if there's a spirit that's in your home or whatever, it's there. It was there since the beginning of time, probably. I don't know. But I like to help spirits when I can, and to get them out of my hair. Let's move them to the light, you guys. you know,
Right.
try to help them, not just make a spectacle of these ghosts. Like when you go on a ghost hunt or do any kind of paranormal research, it's not a bad idea to, if they're asking you for help them, guide them to the light, have their family come meet them on the other side or something. I
Right.
don't,
It's like
that's
helping Sam from the movie Ghost. But you're playing Whoopi Goldberg and
yeah,
you're helping Patrick Swayze kind of make things
kind
right.
of. I mean, wouldn't you want help if you're on the other side begging for help? It's
Yeah.
like, well, that could be my brother or my dad or mom or something. I mean, it could be somebody that you love. And I actually have I had a friend who committed suicide it was 2001. It's been a long time, and I did a session with a gentleman named Christopher Moon who had a ghost box back in the day before we had the handheld ITC
Right.
devices, and I went and I made an appointment to go see this guy to do a ghost box session. And I was talking, I just lost my brother in a car accident, and had a lot of family and friends that had just passed away, including my friend who committed suicide.
Right.
And so I just wanted answers. And that was around 2001, 2002 when I did the ghost box sessions back then. And so Christopher Moon and I did the session, and I was asking about my friend, and he came to the other side, and I realized that he was in distress and couldn't find his way. And so he and Christopher and I, along with Christopher's spirit guide on the other side, we walked him to the light and we helped him. And it was a pivotal moment in my life, because it showed me that we have the ability to help spirits on the other side that need to, that are stuck. And I think there are a lot of earthbound spirits right now. If you guys get a chance, go check out my friend Barry Littleton on YouTube. Okay. He has a lot of great videos, even about, Bigfoot and aliens and UFOs and things like that. But he has some great videos on earthbound spirits. And why a lot of people are not going to the light when they die. They're all stuck here on earth. And it's got a lot to do with being attached to material things and not wanting to let go. And so I don't know, it's something, it's very interesting. So yeah, and thank you, whoever left that comment just then. Thank you. I appreciate that. I've had a lot of loss in my life, but it's a part of life. A part of living is dying, and it's just we all die. But I'm just glad that I have a connection with the other side, and so it's very special.
And even sometimes, when you're alive, you have to kind of die in a way to get where you need to get to better your life. So,
Absolutely. Yeah. We all go through deaths and rebirths, and that's the beauty of life, when we hit rock bottom. And I think that might be kind of what's going on in our world today. I mean, look around us, and like all the craziness that's going on. It's like we're all, in some way or another, we're kind of hitting rock bottom as a society in a lot of ways, all over the world. And it's our job to claw our way back up to the top. Okay. And to get out of it. And we got to save ourselves. And Tom, I think with you and I doing these shows and just putting a positive light out there, I think it helps people. And I think it's important that we keep doing this.
Absolutely. For sure. Well, everyone was great in the chat tonight, and you did great. I mean, it was really nice to hear about your research, your stories, and kind of things you've been through, your life experiences. I'm definitely looking forward to working with you again. And if I don't have somebody lined up for next week, I will definitely come on and be on your show, because that'd be awesome. If you want to plug your show one more time for anyone that's new to it, to kind of go on your YouTube and subscribe to your channel.
Yeah. Okay. So my YouTube is Oracle of the South. Okay. And my name's Jessica Jones. Okay. So, and you can find me on Facebook as well. My public page is Jessica, Oracle of the South. And I'm on Instagram. I'm at Oracle of the South. I'm also at Into the Portal _Jessica. And I have a shop for, in my other life, I also have a shop where I sell Native American jewelry, and that's called War Woman Goods. So go to War Woman Goods on Etsy and on Instagram and follow me there. I also, every Saturday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, I have a digital broadcasting show called Into the Portal, okay, on KGRA Digital Broadcasting. So you guys can find that on YouTube. You can go to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting app and get a yearly membership. They have amazing shows with amazing guests and hosts. So it's all about paranormal. Okay. So definitely go to KGRA, subscribe there, go to their YouTube channel and their Facebook page. And you guys can absolutely, you can find me all over the place. I'm all over social media now, and I'm on Gab and Rumble. So
now, do you have a, let's see, I know you said Rumble, but do you have a, what's the other one that everyone's doing now? Not Twitter. Oh God, it's that,
I'm on Odyssey too. I don't know.
People are getting off Facebook. They're getting onto another website. Oh God, I was just, It'll come to me later. I'm not worried about it too much now. But it's kind of like a social network, social media network with kind of less restrictions on it, and everyone's kind of going onto it and kind of like doing their own thing because there's no restrictions. There's no it's limitless. You can kind of do whatever you want. So that being said,
Yeah.
it was kind of like
Oh.
the thing to do. Like remember the day Facebook shut down for like 6 hours.
Oh God, yeah.
Everyone was going onto this news
Wild.
site, and like everyone just lost their shit. It's like didn't know
Yeah.
what to do.
Oh my gosh, yeah. No, I actually got permanently banned from Facebook after in less than 24 hours.
Wow.
Yeah, I went in to do my Oracle of the South page, and I did it. And you know what, the death blow was I put a picture of my friend Bob. We call him Grumpy. He's one of my research partners, and he was on that show Killing Bigfoot. And
Oh yeah.
I was putting some pictures of us up there, and apparently it goes against their guidelines, and it was a lethal blow. So they knocked me off permanently, and I could not even.
Wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't
So
even.
I'm so it's Telegram. But are you on Telegram or no?
Yeah, I'm on Telegram. I am.
Okay.
I hadn't checked it in a while, but I'm on there.
Yeah, I was kind of like, I was kind of doing. I muted mine too because I was kind of tired of all the conspiracy theory stuff. Because some stuff it's like, wow, you guys are too far fetched. But some of the stuff is actually like falls into play with how the world's a lot of stuff how the world's kind of coming to be right now.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff makes a lot of sense, but it's kind of like getting beat over the head with every 5 seconds with a words, and I had to just mute it because I was tired of every 5 seconds getting beat over the head with all the down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say conspiracy theory. I would just kind of say down the rabbit hole stuff with true factual events that I don't want to think about right now because it's scary shit if you think about it. If you get down to it, so I'd rather just kind of live my life to the best. Yeah, live my life to the best. Take care of my family, take care of my home, take care of my pets and all my people, and do what I got to do, and kind of just live your life and don't worry about all the other stuff because when stuff hits the fan. I'm ready for whatever. You have to be. You have to just kind of prepare for it.
Yeah, we do. Just keep shining your light, man. That's all you got to do. Just take care of you and just have fun. And Amanda, I love you too. Thank you for watching. That's one of my best friends. So
nice. Well, I'm glad we can get some of your people on here too, because I always try to do like when my guests, I try to like have them promote to like their friends or their channels and get do a little more of a viewing chat. So. Awesome.
That's how we're going to be gaining followers and whatnot. And, and it's good to make new friends and to hear everybody's perspectives, because I absolutely respect everyone's research. And it doesn't matter what kind of researcher you are, if you're an armchair researcher or boots on the ground. Yeah. I think it's all amazing. I love learning new things every day. And I am so excited to hear from more people and to watch your show more this year, Tom. So
absolutely. Same thing with you. I mean, it's great to meet new people in the same subject. People like, up and starting channels kind of build up from where we're at to where we'll be in a year from now. It'll be awesome. So.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah, let's check back in a year from now.
I mean, I'm not trying to be on like the History Channel or nothing, but if it does happen, I can say, hey, I started off with 100 something subscribers, and I had you on my show, so cool,
I mean, you never know where you're going to end up. You might be a superstar. I mean, who knows? We'll see. Well, it depends on what you want to manifest for yourself, right?
Yeah, I definitely won't be a sellout if that happens, though, for sure. I'll remember where I came from and be humble, because that's how you got to be. You got to be humble. Just like you're a humble person, I'm a humble person. It goes a long way if you're humble, opposed to if you're just out there for to eat everything up and not really be thankful for it.
Well, you got to be honest and you got to be authentic, and don't try to be something that you're not. That's my philosophy. I'm like, just put yourself out there and be you. And people, the right people will listen to your message, and the people who aren't meant to hear it aren't going to hear it. That there are people who cannot hear you right now, that can't hear me. And we talk about Bigfoot, they don't even hear us. It's like we're all in a different radio frequency. And the people who are meant to hear this message that we have tonight are going to hear it, and the people that aren't won't. So, and it's okay. And we have to have a tough skin too, right? Because
I mean, we're part of the percent. We're part of the percent of the world that believes in something that let's say 75 to 80% believes that none of this exists, and they believe that we're the crazy ones that wear tinfoil hats. But who's the crazy one? I'll be crazy. I mean, I'll be considered crazy. I'm cool with that. It is what it is, and whatever.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'll say, "Told you so."
Yeah. No, I mean, we have to be a little crazy for doing this, but it's almost like it's not really crazy, but just brave. And like I said, I never meant to go public. I can't even believe I'm sitting here talking to you right now on a podcast. So on a
Yeah,
live show, I can't believe I have my own show. It's just every day I live in amazement and just gratitude for everything. So yeah,
absolutely. Well,
yeah.
it was a pleasure having you on tonight. If you want to I'm going to do my little exit. If you want to, when I end the broadcast, I'm going to do my little exit intro, and then we'll go into the dismissal. I'll just stay on,
Okay.
but just don't drop off yet.
Okay. Bye, guys.